everybody, Coach Lodge here to explain our offense. So this one is, we're going to run 2 sets. This one's we're going to call box. Very easy enough, right? 4 of our players are in the formation of a box, but understand that the middies, our midfielders, will also make a triangle. And we're going to kind of, we're going to run what a motion style offense where we just kind of rotate through based on what happens, okay? And the rule is if it comes from one triangle to the other, or one from midi to attack, the middies will rotate, okay? And then the attack will go through the options. So if we're just kind of trying to work the ball around, note that the midi is on what we call the crease. Okay, so imagine there's this box here that we call the crease. And what that midi does is, if, let's say, the top left midi has the ball, he's going to kind of mirror the ball. So he's going to drop down. And the reason why that player is going to drop down is because now look at all this space that midfielder can work with, right? As long as he's away from the top midfielder, he's good, all right? And so just keep mirroring the ball, right? So if we're working the ball around and the midi drops it down to the attack, this midfielder now goes up to the top, okay? Again, away from the ball, okay? And these guys will kind of do something down here. And so he's going to work his way kind of around the perimeter of that triangle, or that box, right? And then he's going to here. But what that player can do is kind of flash, right, to present an option for that midi. If this midi decides to dodge, he's going to flash high so that he can be a scoring threat. Okay. Again, if that's all, if we're just kind of working the ball around. Let's say we want to possess the ball. We're just going to work that ball around, and that's what that midi's doing on the crease area. Now, the basic motion offense, again, the rule of thumb is if it leaves the midi triangle, because you can see the middies will make a triangle, okay? If it leaves that triangle, then they will rotate towards the ball. So if I make this pass, then I'm going to then cut down. That's our first option, is that midi cutting, right? Because what's going to happen is his D, if you run right by that defender, you will have a goal, okay? You will get to the cage, and you'll probably score a goal. Now, before we get into really what does this look like, okay? So there's my midi, top left midi has the ball. This attack needs to V-cut towards the goal, right? Towards the midi. We're making passes. We're shortening our passes. So we make this pass here, okay? So now the ball has left the midi triangle, and now they're going to cut. So if you think about it, it's like they have ropes on their hips, and if one guy moves, everybody else has to move together, right? And so this attack's going to pause a second, because this is that first look that we're looking for. Remember, this midi is now rotated away, and this midi rotates over the top. The rule of thumb is if you see somebody running at you, you run away from them, okay? Because if you had the string on your hips, you'll be pulled in that direction, okay? Now, if we don't have that pass, curl around. The other attack will drop down to, again, making our passes shorter, right? Pass. Now, we haven't come out of the triangle, the attack triangle, and so we're going to work the ball around here. Again, whatever midi ends up on the crease, okay, you're always keeping your stick up because it could be a simple dump pass in, okay? And now, let me clear some of this off. So I'm going to clear what the middies have done, right? And we're in our new kind of set, okay? And so remember that this midi has to V-cut in and back out. Okay, now the pass comes. Okay, now it's left the attack area, right? And so this MIDI will actually be probably in this area coming down, okay? So now this attack's gonna take a looping pass, stick up. You're gonna probably have to catch it over your shoulder a little bit. And that's our first look, is for that MIDI, or is for that attack, because this defender probably will just sit there and you can run right by him, right? And then get a nice give and go action, okay? If we don't have that look, all we simply do is wheel it around, okay? Again, V cut, pass, okay? Again, this MIDI here is bouncing around in that crease area, okay? So, and what we can call this, right, it's a 2-1-2 set, because we have two middies up top, one MIDI in the middle, and then kind of our two attackmen down a goal line extended, okay? If we were playing 6-on-6, we would have a player back here to X, but the two attackmen are gonna have to kind of work the ball through X, either running the through X, okay, which, again, if you follow the rule, if I see someone run at me, I run away from them so they can rotate. But just basically right now, all we're going to do is run this box set in this 2-1-2 box, right?